It happened on a quiet autumn morning, the kind where the forest feels half awake, wrapped in mist and gold. Nobody expected danger. Nobody expected silence to hide something so desperate. But there it was, a young deer lying in the middle of the road, barely moving, its small body swallowed by a cloud of buzzing bees. At first glance, it didn't even look alive. Cars passed by like nothing was wrong, like the world didn't just place a living creature at its feet, begging for help. But sometimes the loudest cry is the one you don't hear. And in God's creation, no life is too small to matter. What's strange is how moments like this always find the right person, or maybe the right heart. A cyclist rolling through the curve slowed down, confused by the strange movement on the asphalt. He thought it was debris. Then he saw the deer's eyes, wide, terrified, pleading. And he realized he wasn't looking at an accident. He was looking at a life slipping away in real time. He braked hard, hesitated, and then something inside him whispered, "If not you, who?" He jumped off the bike like the world had suddenly tilted, and he was the only one who felt it. The hum of the bees wrapped around the deer like a living storm, and for a second he wondered if he was truly ready to step into it. Because let's be honest, most people keep going. Most people tell themselves someone else will handle it. But he wasn't most people, and deep down, he knew that. He stood there catching his breath, hands shaking a little, not from fear, but from the weight of the moment. Was this just a rescue, or something he was meant to do? Was he stepping into danger, or into purpose? He remembered a small convenience store a few minutes back on the trail. Emergency supplies, tools, anything he could use. The clock was ticking, but sometimes the heart runs faster than the body. He sprinted back, grabbed what he could, foam spray, gloves, a brush, water bottles, then raced toward the deer again with this strange certainty that he wasn't running alone. Almost like the forest itself was pushing him forward. Every step felt like a promise, a quiet vow. I won't walk away from you. When he reached the deer again, the air felt heavier, like the forest was holding its breath. The bees swarmed in chaotic spirals, crawling over the animal's neck, legs, even its eyelids. It was a sight that almost stopped him cold. But then the deer shifted ever so slightly, a tiny tremble in its chest. And that was enough. He knelt down slowly, lowering himself to the animal's level, making sure it could see him, feel him, trust him. Sometimes the first step of a rescue isn't action, it's presence, just letting another being know they're not alone. The road was empty, eerily quiet, except for the low, angry buzz circling them. A thin beam of sunlight broke through the trees, like a spotlight on this strange meeting of man and nature. He whispered something soft, almost instinctive, like a small prayer. Maybe the deer couldn't understand the words, but it understood the intention. Animals always do. He took a slow breath, steadying his hands, trying to calm his own heartbeat so he wouldn't frighten the trembling creature beneath the blanket of bees. The moment their eyes met, wide fear meeting quiet resolve, it felt like two worlds touching gently in the middle of a dangerous stillness, the forest watching like a silent witness. He shook the foam can gently, took one more breath, and stepped into the swarm with a calm he didn't fully understand. The bees reacted instantly, tightening their circle, but he moved slowly, deliberately, like someone approaching a sacred fire. He sprayed the foam in short bursts, creating a protective barrier that pushed the bees back without harming them, and little by little the tight cluster loosened. With a soft brush, he began lifting the insects away from the deer's fur, clearing the delicate legs, the chest, the fragile face. The deer flinched at first, but then something changed. Its muscles relaxed under his touch, almost as if it sensed the pain was finally easing. He poured clean water over the small body, washing away the sticky residue of honey and dust, revealing patches of smooth, trembling skin. Each movement was careful, patient, almost tender. This wasn't just a rescue. It felt like stitching a life back together one breath at a time. And then it happened. The deer lifted its head just a few inches, just enough to look at him fully, eyes clear for the first time. In that instant, he knew. Even before he said it, before he exhaled, the truth settled in his chest like warm light. It's going to live. He sat back on his heels, letting the moment breathe, letting the forest wake up again around them. The deer, still weak but no longer trapped in terror, shifted its legs and tried to stand. It wobbled, leaned into him for balance, then found its footing. There was something almost symbolic in the way it lifted its head toward the trees, like it was remembering the world it belonged to. He stepped aside gently, giving it space, but staying close enough in case it faltered. The deer looked at him one last time, a long, quiet look that felt like gratitude pressed into the air, something deeper than words could carry. And then it walked back into the forest, disappearing between the shafts of golden light, as if nature were closing a curtain behind it. He stayed there for a moment, holding the tools he'd brought, feeling the strange peace that only comes after choosing compassion when it would have been easier to keep riding. Maybe that's the real lesson. Every act of kindness echoes farther than we can see. Every life we touch becomes a thread in something bigger, something sacred. So if this story moved you, let your heart answer back. Comment, like, subscribe, not for numbers, but to stand with every wild heart out there. Because protecting what's sacred starts with showing up.